Hello there, my name is Erica Hargaden, certified child sleep consultant with my private practice Babogue. You'll find me at babogue.com. I'm the creator of the Sleep Series, which is an online sleep program all based around video content that uses my 7 steps to better sleep to get you to where you want to be on your child's sleep journey. And I'm also a mum of 3. So there's very little that I haven't kind of dealt with firsthand with my own kids or with the clients that come to me in my private practice. So what we're going to talk about today is early rising. And when I put out there on my Instagram that I wanted to see what content you guys wanted me to cover, this came up again and again, and it comes up all the time in the Q&As that I run on Instagram and on Facebook. How do I deal with early rising? My child starts their day at 5 o'clock in the morning. I can't seem to get out of this cycle. So yeah, it's a really, really tough one. And listen, as much as we can accept to start our days at 6 o'clock, starting our days at 5 o'clock in the morning, nobody really wants to do that. And quite honestly, it's still nighttime. So what I want to bring you through in this video is maybe understanding why early rising can occur and what are the kind of typical things that I would see as contributing factors to early rising occurring in a child's sleep cycles, okay? And then what we can be doing as parents to help our children get out of the cycle of early rising. So one of the biggest things that I would see as a contributing factor to early rising is overtiredness. If a child is overtired, the cortisol levels in their body are high. And guess what melatonin, the sleepy hormone, and cortisol do? They fight with each other. Okay, so really, if your child's cortisol levels are high in their body, then melatonin can't do its job as well, which helps your child initiate and maintain sleep. And early rising occurs in a phase of sleep that is light. So it's really, I'd say if you're watching your child on a monitor, they go from, they're awake, okay? And they are awake and appearing to be awake. And this is a chink in their sleep armor that has this contributing factor of overtiredness. Now, why does that occur? I'm going to go into a little bit. I'm going to just talk now about what are the things that can contribute to early rising. Secondly, external factors. So maybe things like there being too much light in their bedrooms. So ensuring that their bedrooms are as dark as possible is really, really important. Maybe your heat is flicking on and that flick noise is waking your child routinely. Or does somebody leave the house every morning extremely early and turn on the shower? Is that drawing your child out of sleep? 5 o'clock in the morning can be a cold time in a house. So, is your child a little bit cold? Could you maybe put an extra layer on them, obviously ensuring that they don't overheat? Those kind of things can really, really contribute to early rising being an issue. And then there's reinforcement, lads. Reinforcement is a key thing around early rising. Is there something particularly and routinely happening between you and your child at that time that's reinforcing this wake? Is your child beyond the stage of needing feeds at night and they wake and they're always fed at that time? Are they brought into the bed with you at that time? Is there something happening around that time that that they like? And they wake up and it's reinforced every single time. So now I'm going to talk about, in relation to each of those 3 categories, what you can do to try and combat early rising. So with overtiredness that I touched on first, really that's about balance in napping and making sure that your child is getting enough rest. So I would often see that overtiredness is key and happening around a child that's having a top-heavy napping schedule. So they're getting the majority of their daytime sleep in the morning and too little daytime sleep in the afternoon. And then there's this big gap to bedtime, which creates this overtiredness. So if you have a child that's on a 2 napping schedule, Try and limit the sleep in the morning, maybe to about an hour, and then have a longer nap in the afternoon and a 4 to 4.5 hour gap to bedtime. So that's for a 2 napping schedule. So a child of maybe 8 months to maybe 13 or 14 months. If you have a child that's on 1 nap a day, balance in the napping is extremely important. And I'm doing that because I want you to put it in the middle of the day, guys. If you have a baby or a child, a toddler of, let's say, 18 months, and they're having their long nap of the day, the 1 nap they get at 10 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock, then you've got this 7-hour gap to bedtime. So they're going to be exhausted, and the cortisol levels will be high, and that will big time contribute to early morning waking. So gently push that nap forward to the middle of the day so that there's balance either side, and use this kind of 4 to 4.5 hour gap to help create that just enough amount of time in a gap to going to bedtime. Also, don't think that you're going to solve early rising by putting them to bed later, because that's only making the overtiredness worse. You need to put them to bed earlier. So often when I'm working with families and we've early rising in the mix, we actually will go with early bedtime to help a child along their way to kind of top up on that sleep debt, to push that cortisol level down, to allow them to get more sleep. And I know it sounds like it's mad and your child's going to wake up then at 4, but actually they won't. They probably will still continue to wake up at 5 and half 5 for a period of time, but as their sleep debt starts to fade, they will start to wake up that little bit later and later, bit by bit. Now, external factors. Look at those, identify them, sit down with the people in your life and talk about how things that are happening might be drawing the child out of sleep. If it's a darkness issue, you can solve that. Black bags sellotaped to the windows, blackout blinds, heavily lined curtains. If you've night lights in your child's bedroom and they're emitting blue light, bin them. Blue light will draw your child out of sleep. Orange light is fine. Blue and white light, not great when it comes to sleep, okay? Also look at those things like the shower pump going, somebody getting up early in the morning, things like that happening. They're easily solved insofar as, can they be a bit quieter? Also, can they shower the night before? They're kind of simple little tweaks. Are they warm enough? Cover off those boxes, okay? Then when it comes to reinforcement, that really is down to parents trying to stop doing what they're doing, okay? And that's hard. That's really, really hard. And that's where putting in place a plan and a strategy around changing how you are possibly reinforcing this issue with your child. I've often had parents over the years come and work with me, and they're bringing their child into the bed with them routinely at 5 o'clock in the morning, and this is really in reinforcing the habit, and we go on a program of keeping their child in the cot. It is not easy. It will be a difficult few days of change, but it does come right in the end. Now, the thing with early morning rising is that it is a devil to get on top of, like a devil. It is probably one of the most challenging things that you will deal with if it's part of your sleep journey. But all is not lost. You can get on top of it. It can get better, but it really takes consistency to change. Don't expect to see this come right in a matter of days. It won't. Don't expect to see it come right in a matter of weeks. It possibly won't. I've often worked with families where it has taken months to get them to the goal of their child starting their day or looking to start their day at 6 o'clock in the morning. But it comes with consistency. So if you want this to change, you have to consistently put in the work to make the change. Now, I'm not trying to put you off, What I'm trying to do is be real and be honest. And I think if we frame our expectations around making change with our children's sleep, we're actually more likely to have success, because we can go, okay, I know that I need to put in this type of effort to see that return. So I hope that was helpful. If you're looking for more information about what I do in terms of my private practice or the sleep series, check out babogue.com, and I would encourage you to sign up to the newsletter on my website, where I put out regular tips